So it's often said that Steam has quality control. Most of the games on Steam just aren't terrible. But Mr. Gaben over here has a tendency to overlook a lot of games. Today I've dug up 5 steaming piles of shit to share with you from the back corners of Steam. Some bad and others, well, just so much worse. And yes, I'm aware this concept isn't entirely original, but fuck it, I'm doing it anyways. Okay, so enough beating around the bush. We're starting out with a game called Hot Mars 69. Yes, I'm being serious. No, this game isn't a joke. And no, this game isn't some space porno. So right off the bat, this game is made with Game Guru, the easy game maker, TM. Anyways, the main menu looks promising enough until you realize the About option has nothing on it. After a painfully long loading screen, the game finally begins. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. First of all, a lot of these games have bad frame rate. This isn't my computer's fault. My computer can run games like this and this with no issues. No, it's a result of poor optimization. So at first it just seems like a generic space shooter, but my god, I wish it was. So you have this fucking ridiculous shotgun that looks like something out of Borderlands 2. So first thing I want to point out is this door. I set my standards a little bit too high for this game, thinking that I just had to wait for it to open. But no, you can legitimately just walk right through it. And then you face some of the least threatening aliens in video game history that look like they were ripped right from a Unity asset store. When I first took damage, I started hearing this obnoxious heartbeat sound, and it never stopped until I picked up some health and ammo. Which, by the way, the health overheals you to shit, but I'll get into that later. So anyways, eventually you start encountering different aliens, but they're still unthreatening. They all die in one hit, no matter where you hit them. And if you're wondering, yes, this is the entire game. You just run around this barren planet, shooting aliens, and shooting more aliens. Near the end of the game, you find some kind of temple where you collect what the game calls a key, which is literally just a giant textureless blue orb. You use said key on some giant door, which of course gets its collision hitbox removed when you open it. You touch a portal thing, and then you win. I didn't even get any ironic enjoyment out of this game. Besides a few examples, there's no fun to be had here. I definitely don't recommend this one, and if we were to rank the 5 games in this video from best to worst, this is easily the worst. Well, moving on to the next one. Oh yeah, marry me, baby! Our next game is a shitty attempt at a horror game called Despair. Now, you may have heard of this one. It has over 1,000 reviews on Steam, and compared to Hot Mars 69's 19 reviews on Steam, that's a lot. Despair was gifted to me by a fan, so of course I played it, and oh my god. It starts with an opening of a girl on a train, all in the Helvetica font. And to show the title, they bolded the Helvetica font. Whoa there, guys, little bit too daring. After the horrendous opening, it says, press any key so small that you need a magnifying glass to see it. Okay, enough complaining about the intro, time to complain about the game. So just like Hot Mars 69, my frame rate was dead the entire game. I mean, look at this cursor movement. So after a 10-hour loading screen, you wake up on a train. When you start walking, I noticed that the footstep sound effects were blatantly ripped off from Half-Life 2, which is always a nice touch. So basically the game is, you get off of the train, and you walk, and you walk, and you walk, until you finally find an invisible wall. Fucking perfect. I didn't know what to do. Did I go the wrong way? Before I even had time to think, this happened. I may be missing something, but I'm done here. While it's not as bad as Hot Mars 69, there is no joy to be had here. Stay far away.
Don't need to pay me to, I'm drinking in some Daisy Dukes.
Next up is another space game called Gask. This one, unlike the other two that seem to be made by independent developers or teams, had a lot of people behind it. They even made that big marketing push, putting DLC in and everything. That means this one has to be good, right?
Nope.
So in this one, you're an astronaut who's been stranded on the moon and you look for signals. I'll just let her explain it.
This is weird. It seems to be showing 5 unknown signals. There must be a glitch in your visor. We're unsure which is the right signal. You're gonna have to choose one and hope for the best.
So yes, you run around like a rat in a maze, getting hit by perfectly round asteroids every second, looking for the right fucking signal. Anyways, welcome to the moon, where the ground flickers every second, and you hear the same 3-second breathing loop throughout the entire game. Sounds like a fun place to be, right? The controls are fucking awful in this game. They're extremely hard to explain unless you played it yourself. But let me say, these aren't your average first-person controls. It kind of feels like you're walking on 3 legs, one broken, and the other 2 are peg legs. That is the best way I can describe it. The basic objective here is to find the signals, which sounds simple enough, but they're so far away that you'll probably die of boredom before you die of oxygen loss. It takes forever, and when I finally did find one, it wasn't even the right signal. Fuck. This game just leaves me with so many questions. Why are there so many asteroids falling on the moon? Why do they just bounce off instead of making craters? Why do I keep getting hit by nothing? Where's my life bar? Why do the asteroids keep disappearing out of thin air? What's the point? You move slow as shit and get hit by asteroids every second. That's the game. Moving on. I'd say this is better than the other two from a graphical standpoint alone, but they're all still complete shit. Next up is an awful horror game called Fear for Freedom. This is gonna be a short one because there's almost nothing to say about this barren wasteland of a game. It's just one of those games that makes you wonder, like, how the fuck could it have gotten on Steam? Alright, so cutting right to the chase, you start out in this Play-Doh office, and there's 2 notes on the floor. One says some bullshit that isn't important, and the other one says there's a monster out in the hallway. So I did the most logical thing, which was walking right into the fire, and I died. Then it just says live a different life. How about play a different game? Anyways, I decided to open the door. Am I sure? Yes. A monster is out there. I know. I will probably die. I'm not prepared. I know! Just let me open the fucking door! So I got into an elevator with Mr. Seizure Tentacles here. We exited into white, and I died. Alrighty, let's try that again. I read some more notes, went in the washing machine, and did pretty much everything, but it was useless. I went back out with the scary no-collision hitbox monster, and as far as I can tell, this is the game. I even managed to open the safe, but there wasn't anything useful in it, just another note. This just seems like something a college student would make for a class, or some experiment in the 1980s, not an actual game that you put on Steam with the intention of being a good finished product. I'd say this one is worse than Gask, but it's better than the other two. There's just nothing here.
Hey! I'm buck wild, I never have it together.
And last but definitely not least, my personal favorite of the bunch is ISA Simulator. The name could be offensive, technically, so warning, I guess. Anyways, this one was made with Game Guru, the same engine or software or whatever as Hot Mars 69. The menu is the exact same, actually. Even the About page is still empty. So let's get into the actual game. I pressed start and the game crashed. Cool. After like 3 more crashes, I got the fucking thing to work. And then you get some background. I actually didn't even know how to skip this until I saw press E to skip down here in white on an almost white background. Okay, honestly, I don't even know where to start. You could consider this an open world game because you can completely ignore all combat and just walk in a random direction. It's like the game designers didn't know how to put barriers down or anything, so they just made a complete open world. In fact, you can walk up an almost 90-degree slope. Look at this! So can the enemies.
Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity.
I walked in this direction for a long time until I finally fell and died. This game is worth it so far, it's pretty entertaining. Anyways, actual objective. So the quality kind of surprised me at first. You can aim down sights, pick up other people's weapons, and the gunplay is kind of solid. It even has a low FPS detector, which doesn't do anything but remove bushes and barely affects the frame rate, but they tried. And don't get me wrong, this game is still complete shit, but it has its upsides compared to the other ones. Anyways, after getting past that first camp, you go down a river and fight some more enemies. Honestly, I don't even know what else to say about this one. It's just a kind of solid first-person shooter game. It's not terrible, and with a name like Isis Simulator, you probably expect it to be. I never saw the end of it, but I might come back to this game at some time. It's kind of stupid fun. You know, if there weren't a bazillion fucking games that did the exact same concept much better in every possible way.
Okay, that's up, no.